tell your story. Where you go?
Well, he kept stopping me in the streets, asking me if I was autistic, which I sort of said no. He was absolutely adamant that I was autistic. I said, no, I just don't like talking to people. Don't do it. Got no reason to. I like to keep myself to myself in my house. And we kept having little things like that. And then there was another time when he was adamant that I was over 37, which I found really offensive because I'd just turned 30. I was like, do I really look that old? But then on the exactly 18th of October, I think it was about 4:30, around about that time, he pulled up in his car with all his kids and got out of the car and started really shouting abuse at me, sort of saying that I'd been talking to his neighbour about him and been watching through his windows and stuff, and sort of shouting that I should clean my house up and sort my kids out and sort my head out. I was like, well, there's nothing wrong with my head other than I was in pure agony. And I come in, but I phoned the police up because of it, because obviously he'd been abusive to me. So I phoned the police up, and I forget what he said, he was PCO or something, came round and took my statement and sort of told me to shut the curtains, because at the time you could see out of my windows. Told me to shut the curtains, which I'd done, and I sort of got the kids occupied in the kitchen. And the PCO went across but couldn't speak to him, so spoke to the wife, and they sort of put it all onto me. I'd start shouting abuse at them instantly and stuff like that. So obviously PCO came over and said, tit for tat, leave it at that, just ignore him, he'll ignore you, end of. And then I'd sat down to watch E4+1 Hollyoaks, Stranger Things I remember. And in the break I went upstairs to go to the toilet actually, and heard this really big bang, but because both kids were upstairs I didn't think anything of it, I just thought they'd messing around. So I come back downstairs, carried on watching Hollyoaks, and I just happened, you just got up to your curtain, open the curtain. Well, I'd done that, and a great big hole in my window, so I went sort of panicked, picked my little girl up, and she was sort of, which I'm quite glad of, because he'd only managed to go through the first set of glass.
Yeah. So
the one inside was still intact, because at the time I had my sofa under the window, and my little girl had been sleeping on the sofa. But I sort of panicked, opened the front door, and his whole of his front room window was all open, the net curtains had been pulled across, the blinds had been pulled up, and he just sat right in the middle of the window watching it all. So I went next door when she was still there and sort of told her, and she come out and had a look. And then we phoned the police up, and then we went back into hers, didn't say anything to him, just went into her house. And her daughter, at the time she was 15, she come out of the house to go out with her friends, and he started hurling horrific abuse at her, calling her a little whore and slag and stuff. So of course Mum went absolutely ballistic, went out there, and he was still doing it, but he stood in the front room, so he was up the window, so he didn't actually come outside, because that's how brave he is. Hurled abuse at her then, and obviously police come round, took him away after about an hour, because he just kept handing cards out the window. And then we sort of all just got on with it, boarded my window up, come indoors. And then the next morning I went to a shop, because I like to go to the shop when the shop's open, just as it opens while my boy's in bed, because it's a lot easier. And so that was about 6 o'clock, and I went to the shop, and on the way back I sort of kept my head down, just wanting to get indoors, and I could hear this really weird noise. It was like a dog whistle come, just someone grunting, like constantly just going and I looked up, and he went, I told you I'd still be here today, let the fucking games begin. And at that point I just got in, got my boy up, and I was out of Yarmouth. I didn't hang around.
Now on the video he did for me, he said that it was you making them weird noises, right? Didn't he? It's contradictions all the time. Go on, carry on, sorry.
But yeah, alright then. But at that I phoned the police up and said, right, he's just hurled abuse at me out of the window, sort of saying that he was still here and that the games were then going to start. And I phoned my mum up, who lives in Alton Border, where the place past Lowestoft, and I went there for the weekend. I refused to come back here at all because I was too scared. And I know that there was then, from what I've been told, he came across the road with his dog, and when next door was there, she's run away now. But when she was there, he stood right up against her window, looking straight in, laughing at her. So she had to phone the police as well, and that resulted in a massive, well, from what I can work out, a big fight. But he'd set it up so the fight would start, and he had his boy up the window recording the whole thing.
Yeah.
And trying to get his dog to bite my friend's husband as well.
Is this now? This guy, he turned around and told me that all he was doing was walking down the road, and this guy started to hit him. Right, so that's not the right story.
No.
Could you know the right story?
I know what I've been told off everyone that witnessed it.
Yeah, so tell us what happened.
And it was a case of person phoned up the police, absolutely panicking, and obviously phoned up her partner because her little boy is also autistic.
Right.
A lot more than mine, actually.
We got 2 autistic children ourselves.
Aren't we lucky? I've got rid of mine tonight, actually, for a little while. But I think he came round, and when he got here in his car, he stood at his door the whole time, stood at his front door with his phone in his hand, which is what he liked to do.
Yeah.
And he then instigated a fight with her boyfriend, sort of calling him a pedo and stuff, which obviously is going to get any bloke to give you a lump.
Yeah.
But he then tried to stick his dog on him as well, and they both got bit by the dog, which I find quite funny.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what happened from that point on. I think he tried to get her partner done for assault, but the police stated, look, you caused it, you started it.
Yeah.
There's nothing we're going to do.
So he told me with this as well, he said that you have a policeman as a friend, is that right?
Do I? No, not as far as I know.
No, that's just what we was told.
I don't know any policeman, actually. I've never actually... 30 when this all started. I'd never been in any involvement with the police until this point, and I can tell you the statement process completely now, because I think, so much has happened. But, I just like to... I don't like going out there anymore. Definitely don't like answering the door.
So basically, he's trouble on trouble then, basically. He's the instigator of everything that's gone on.
Yeah.
Basically,
There's been, I won't go out on my own if I can really avoid it, because he'll follow me around town quite often. When it all first started...
So he's actually following you in the streets?
Yeah, he follows me around town. There's one thing where I was in Asda, and I had both the kids with me, and, you know yourself, autistic kids in Asda, it's just...
No.
Don't work.
No, and I was trying to buy myself a jumper. I've actually got a jumper upstairs, and I was looking at this jumper, and I could hear something clicking in my ear, and it was constantly going. And I thought, what is that bloody noise? And I carried on trying to talk to the kids. Turned round, and I must have just turned white as a ghost. I started shaking instantly. He stood about that far away from me, just clicking. And as soon as I turned round...
For the camera, that's about 8 inches.
I turned round, and he just smirked at me, giggled, and walked off. And I was absolutely panicking. I was trying to keep the kids calm, because my son saw him. He panicked as well, because he's absolutely petrified of him. And that went that was that one. There's just loads. He likes to follow you. He just crawls around after you, and walking straight down to the next part of St George's, because I take my little girl to nursery, and he used to turn round. Is it a U-turn? I don't know the words. Done a U-turn thing out here, but followed me up the dead end of St George's, calling abuse out the window. So I reported that to the police as well. Nothing got done. He used to sort of come up the road and then see me and go really slow past me, giving hand gestures and stuff. It's just loads. Absolutely.
If you could remember as much as you can, it'd be good for us. So.
There was one instant where I was walking down St George's Road to after take my little girl to school, and that was just after he was put on the police. Words completely escaped me.
Is that where he was put on? Basically, he wasn't allowed to go near you. Is that? Yeah. I know what you mean.
And because I do look at the floor when I'm walking, and I was walking along, and I just happened to look up, and I sort of registered his face, but didn't register it completely, and he got right up to me, and then again he said, "Are you playing fucking games with me or something?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "If you really want to fucking play games, you think it's all fucking over. It's far from fucking over." So I was completely panicked at that point and just wanted to get home. That's it. That's when he was on the restraining order. 2 days after he'd been put on that, and phoned the police, but somehow he'd got himself a complete tight alibi for it, and because there was a witness, but because she couldn't say 100% yes, that's him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he got away with that.
Yeah.
There's times when I walk out the door and he'll be in his garden with his boy, and they'll be shouting that I'm a lesbian and a parrot head, and still didn't quite get that one.
Funny you should mention the word parrot. He said that he got arrested for calling someone a fucking parrot or something like that. Yeah. So this is where it's tying. You see, he's telling half truths. Yeah. He's been telling half truths all the way along the line.
Yeah.
Right? Using points, but the points have been instigated by himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I can't, because now I won't go anywhere without my headphones in, but I come out of the door and there was him, his older boy, and another bloke in the garden, and I heard, "Look at that fucking parrot. Look, that's nothing but a fucking lesbian." And I was like, "I'm not a lesbian. How dare you?" I took more offence to that actually than a parrot. I was like, "Yeah, I like parrots." So I did report that to the police, because I thought I can't be coming out of my door, especially if I had my little kids with them.
Torrent of abuse.
And that's just every time I was coming out of my door, there'd be something else he'd be shouting at me, or something else he'd be doing, like hand gestures and stuff. Or he'll sit with the window, well, more or less the window the way it is, all lit up, and he'll just sit right in front of the window and watch everything.
Yeah.
And like he'll have his wife stand up the window with his camera.
Yeah.
And record everything, which gets rather frustrating, because it used to be that we'd have to leave the house at the same time to get the kids to school. So she'd come out with her camera recording everything. I'd be trying to get away as quick as I could, because she really does not care. She just giggles at everything. But I mean, there's been things where I just don't see the point in reporting it anymore. I mean, the first week of the half term, because my son goes to special needs school, so he gets picked up by taxi. And you know, when you see something moving and you have to look up, well, I opened the door, letting him out, and I could see the bedroom curtains moving. Looked up, and there he was, stark bollock naked. I was like, "Oh my God!" I didn't know what to do, but I thought, well, there's no point in phoning the police, because it's just.
But basically, we've let this guy in our house, Marianne. We've had this guy in it. Go on, carry on, please.
But there's stuff like that, and then he stands there up the bedroom window waving at me and stuff. I'm like, just leave me alone.
So he's basically he's constantly trying to instigate a row.
Yeah. Well, on like the Wi-Fi list, you know, when you're finding your Wi-Fi, I'm crap with words. Yeah. But because next door she did, as soon as it all started, she got onto the exchange register and just wanted to get out, and she picked the first house that come up. But the day she moved, because I actually bought a new mobile phone that same day, so I'm setting it up to my Wi-Fi, and one of his 7 Wi-Fi connections was, ding dong, that's one witch gone. I was thinking, well, why? That's blatantly a dig at us. And I thought, well, I ain't going nowhere. Yeah. It is constant stuff like that, and he niggles at you constantly. So.
Is he still doing it now?
Yeah. Yeah, if I come out and he'll be there, he'll watch everything. Well, you can see by the cameras that have gone up.
Yeah.
So, and that's rather frustrating, because my son